Hi guys, welcome back to the world of 28mm. Now this is part 3 of our oil spill project. In this episode we'll be putting the iridescent sheen and or beginning on the finishing touches of our piece. So let's go down to the table and let's crack on. Have fun. Okay, so here we are guys, we're back at the table 24 hours later, and we can see now that all our water effect is dry. Hope you can make it out on the camera, but we can see some blue, some red, some greens in there right at the bottom, and it's all nicely covered over by that black tint that we did as the second pour, and then it's covered over by that Agrax Earthshade. After a little bit of reading last night, I'd like to correct myself from something I said. I said that oil is denser than water. It actually isn't. I was informed last night, so ignore that. Anyway, right, our next step is to give it that iridescent shine that you get. Okay, so what we're going to do, we've got an old paintbrush here. Okay, make sure it's an old paintbrush because this stuff's, you know, pretty thick and it takes a little bit to wash out. And now this is just, so I'll show you what this is. I said at the beginning, it's a Hobbycraft Art acrylic iridescent medium. Okay, and we're just going to take some of this. We're going to take most of the pigment off, but we just want to leave that shine. So I've just got an old bit of tissue here, and we're going to wipe off most of the actual medium itself, so the brush should just be left with this essentially ground down metallics. Okay, so we're going to go from our point of origin. Now I've used a thin brush because we don't want to have massive amounts on there. Okay, so we're going to trail it out and when you're doing this, just look at some real life pictures and how this stuff sort of spreads. There is no uniform pattern to it, so it's entirely really up to you, as long as you get that feathery effect. So I'm just going to put a bit more on our brush and wipe that off. I'll put a bit too much on there. Wipe our brush a bit more. Okay, so I've got a little feather there, and then we're going to go into a little pull here, and then I'm just going to feather some bits off. Bear with this, guys, you know, it will take a little bit, just bear with it and you will get that nice sort of pearlescent effect. There, we've got some more shiny stuff. I'm just going to feather a bit out there, bring some more out into the center. And as you get to the edges, as you want to bring the trail to an end, just feather it off into a little point. I'm just going to dry brush some more. And let's have a little feather coming out this side, with a few little offshoots coming off. And that one's mixed into one there, and that's another one trailed off. There. So hopefully we can see there, if I get it under a bit of light, there you can see that shine we've got. So I've sort of trailed it off into a V shape, and then the last bit, I'm trying to do it so I know you guys can see it then. There, we're just going to make this patch a little bit stronger. And then just feather it off there. Same here. Another little, yeah, another offshoot there. The thing about this iridescent medium, when you put this on, you have to make sure that it's your very last layer. Okay, if you put a gloss varnish over this, or just another little tiny thin layer of woodland scenics to seal it or whatever, this medium will go like super shiny, and it will just ruin it. That's cool if you're going to do, you know, it's just, once again I'm going to use Elven example because they like all their shiny stuff. Yeah, if you're doing things like that, then fine, but if you're doing a dark dingy pool or whatever, the last thing you want is it to be all glittery and fairy-esque. So yeah, make sure that you're happy with your water effects and everything first before you put this on, because this is your last bit, you can't put any more on. Okay, so I'm going to hold that up, try and shine the light. There, you can see. I turn it out the light and it's gone again. And that's really what I'm looking for. Okay, it's not the best pattern in the world, but it gives you a good idea. Okay, so we've got a few feathering off, and you can make swirls out of it and everything like that. Just make sure that you're happy with your water effect before this medium goes on, because like I say, if you put more gloss over the top of this, it just goes super shiny. So yeah, keep that in mind when you're doing this project. Okay, so there you have it. There's the iridescent medium. Okay, and then put that over there. We've got, that tissue. We've got an old barrel that I've just painted red. Okay, and we're just going to use a little bit of PVA. Now, the reason why I'm using PVA is I haven't sealed this piece of foam. So yes, it's painted, but that's not sealed. And those of you who don't have the experience, you can't use things like super glue or poly cement or any chemically stuff for this. So use simple PVA because it won't burn through. Yes, it'll take longer to dry, but you'll have an intact piece still at the end. Okay, so splodge on some PVA there. It's weird PVA this stuff is. Okay, and we're going to remember our point of origin. We're just going to pop it down there. We can get it to sit straight. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to give that half hour to dry, and then we'll come back and we'll just put all the grit and gravel on it and the finishing touches, and that'll be it. Okay, so I'll see you when this is dry. Hey guys, here we are back at the table again. The barrel hasn't quite dried yet, but I figured nah, we'll just get this gritted up now. So all I've got here is some watered down PVA. It's you know, quite sloshy. I couldn't tell you. Essentially, it's been left for a little while, and I think condensation has gathered on the inside, and it's watered down the PVA. So I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but it's very watery. Okay, and we'll just use this to put some. Got some fine modelling basing sand here. Okay, you can get this from anywhere on eBay. Loads of different model shops do it as well. It's just sand basically. Okay, so we are going to take some of this, and I'm just going to put a few little splodges around. There we can see how watery that stuff is. There you are. Blob some around, take an old brush, and we'll just spread it about nice and evenly. Don't worry too much about getting on the edge of the water effect or anything like that. You know, there'll be something else going over the top of this grit as well. So the reason why I say something else is because I haven't decided whether to do it with flock, so I can do it quickly for you guys, or sorry. See, told you the barrel hadn't stuck. Just move that to one side so we can splodge it about. There you go. Okay, so we've got that all splodged over. Oh no, wrong one, wrong PVA bottle. That's the one I want. There, you can see the difference between the two. Okay, we'll put that back down there. Okay, so we've got a nice wet thing. I'll put some paper down, as you can see, over my cutting board, so that we can recollect this afterwards. Right, so let's move 2 pots of PVA out of the way. We don't need that brush anymore. Use an old brush for your PVA. And don't worry if it dries out, because you can. PVA is reactivated by water, so if you get, I'm just going to sprinkle this on. If you forget about your paintbrush, which I do quite regularly when I'm doing the PVA, leave it to soak in some water overnight, or maybe 24 hours tops, and the water will reactivate the PVA and it should just wash off. Okay, so we're just spreading it about there. Get some in there. So for some reason I'm being very cautious about where this is going, but you really don't have to be. There you go. So I've got a nice covering now. We will let that dry. Don't touch it. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Don't touch it until the PVA is dry, and then you'll keep a nice coverage over the top. Okay, so I'm going to leave it now on this bit of paper, probably 12 hours, maybe a little bit longer. We'll see, but don't shake it off, just leave it as it is and you'll get a nice coverage. Okay, alright, and we'll come back and we'll seal it. So I'll see you when this is dry. And there we have the end of part 3. So it's starting to resemble something nice now. Okay, so like, share and subscribe, and be ready for part 4, the finishing touches. See you soon.